What an exciting start to our elimination match here today. I'm now joined by Sentinels head coach Kaplan. Now, the map pool was so interesting. You know, the Icebox was left in there. You guys banned SEN and then pick Lotus as well. Are you able to give me any insight as to what the game plan was coming into this map picks and bans?
Yeah, I mean, we just wanted to start on a map we were comfortable on. So while they have a great Lotus, we're really feeling it lately. It's just been a home ground for us, so we picked that. And then for the Icebox, instead of SEN, honestly, it's out of respect to them. Like, they're really good on both maps, and I think SEN is pretty deep strategically, and it's been a bumpy one for us. We'd rather go to Icebox, where I think it's a simpler, scrappier map. We have a chance to throw them off. They'll probably have prepared to play SEN, so we'll see how it goes. Planning to win in 3 if we have to, but hopefully we can just close it out here. We've closed it out on Icebox before against them, so yeah.
I love the mind games. Thank you very much, and best of luck.
Thank you.
In the saga of Sentinels versus Gen.G, in this iteration, Sentinels strikes first on Lotus. They pick up the win, but man, let me tell you, Gen.G had us believing for a minute there that there was a possibility we could be going to overtime. I do want to get some quick thoughts though on that map, because yeah, I mean, you heard Coach Kaplan saying, you know, they know they're good on that map, but it's one that they felt good, very comfortable with, and it showed in the server.
No, it really did, and I mean, excellent prep work here for them. But I mean, we got to see the attempted run back there from the side of Gen.G, but I felt ultimately there was too much damage dealt early. That was the Gen.G, those last couple rounds that we were coming into this series kind of expecting to see. So it feels like they started to get locked in, but just not being able to make that a 6-6 half, having that fairly devastating start. Because I mean, you know, 7-5 overall not bad, but given how things had begun, it was a very poor showing.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I really feel like Sentinels just got a lot more value out of their util usage.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there were some explosive plays on both sides, some hype moments, those things like that, but little things like, for example, Gen.G's round where they go to B and they use the showstopper and the nightfall.
Yeah.
Nothing. And then they go into a post plant and they're not really prepared for the angles that and the timing that Sentinels are coming from. So you're going to use those big ults and you can't even convert the round. Things like that, and there was a lot more to it. Like Saucy in particular was doing a great job on the fade, really nailing some important util for the side of Sentinels. Those things really threw Gen.G off balance versus Sentinels. So that's
like, you're singing the opera.
It really was, no. But these two guys absolutely lit it up. You were seeing some highlights there from Zekken and what he was doing in that game. We were talking about when was Zekken going to be back in form. He definitely is here. It is showing. But Texture as well, right there with him. I mean, you can't ask for much more from your aces in those situations, right? Like, Texture's hitting some wild shots. Zekken is opening up the map for his team. I mean, genuinely speaking, Achilleos, like, this was a war between two titans on each side of the field.
No, it really was. And the parity between the players is actually kind of astounding to witness, because at the half, they're both there, 12-8, only one assist separating them. At the end of the game, they both have pretty much the exact same scoreline, same amount of kills there at 23, 1 fewer death, 3 less assists for Texture, and then both of them with 5 kills. They both went 5 and 3. These guys were operating on very similar levels. For Texture, though, it was a bit of a run back for him in that second half. Zekken had taken that lead. Texture comes in, overtakes him, and then Zekken's able to capitalize and catch up at the very end. Yeah,
well, you know what, though? Texture was just absolutely on fire in some of these rounds. That takes us to our Hyperx reflex moment of the day. This one, of course, you got Texture, who, you know, look, we're still hoping that Texture gets the ace, but I'll take a collat. I'll take a collat any day of the week.
I mean, you take a collat and you take that flick.
That flick was absurd. I mean, he first picks up the collat onto Zelsis Intense, but then he goes back for more. He's a little hungry. He wants a few more bites of the pie. Finds it there on Saucy and looks again, and he figures, you know what, let me go ahead and disrespect this fool right here. John QT had to take a lap, had to take a seat. That is exactly what you want to see out of your star player on this team paper.
And he had a couple of those moments that could have been that Hyperx replay. Hit another 4K in there.
Yeah.
And that could have been it too. I mean, he was frying. He was doing everything he could, but the back line behind him, Munchkin played pretty well on that map too. But, you know, surprisingly, Karan and Meteor in particular really were struggling on that. Karan getting caught out a lot in moments that he typically doesn't. And this is kind of one of the things I was talking about, where sometimes you can pick on Karan when he's anchoring a site solo, and you can make him uncomfortable and get those easy first kills, kind of convert rounds off the back of that.
Yeah. Now, of course, this takes us to Icebox. And if you remember history, Icebox was the map that Sentinels closed out against Gen.G. But this is Gen.G's pick. We have not seen Sentinels, play this, and when they did, it wasn't that great. They had a few wins.
But that kind of is the same story for Gen.G internationally, globally rather, I should say, on Icebox. They're 2-4 across the year, and as Kaplan just mentioned in that interview, this is the map that they were able to close things out. They say, you know what, we have ended a series against Gen.G with this map before, and it was fairly dominant, 13-6. Regionally, Gen.G has been very, very good on Icebox throughout the entirety of the year, but it's still, they've never really had those big, blow people out of the water type performances on that map.
Yeah, other than towards the end where they kind of destroyed DRX on it, but that was like towards the end, and DRX was looking really good for what it's worth. But yeah, okay, so basically similar comps here. It's really just the Sova versus the Gecko, right? Your info gathering initiator is going to be the change up. So Sentinel's throwing a little bit of a difference in there. Saucy going back to his Sova, the classic agent he's so well known for, has such impeccable timings on this. So you never know, man. Sentinels look great right now.
No, they really do. And one of the things that my eyes are very much going to, and somebody that we didn't get to really talk about too much, is Lakia. Was not finding that much impact. Was able to put up a couple of assists. His util was there to try to escort players forward or force Sentinels back. But here with this Gecko, I'm looking for big impact from him, not just in the util usage, but also in his rifling, because he has proven on the global stage, proved it there in Shanghai. This guy still can shoot, but we were not seeing it on Lotus.
And this is a map where he generally thrives. He's really good in the mid to late round about using his util well and finding those clutches, finding those high impact moments when Gen.G needs him the most.
Well, the last time these two teams played, it was Gen.G with a 2-0 win. Can Sentinels now return the favor to Gen.G, or will we be forced to go to a map 3? Let's send it back over to your casters for this one. It's, of course, Doug and Baby Bay for the call.
Thank you so much, GB. Dre, I think one thing that stood out as we were listening to Kaplan talk was the immense amount of respect that he showed towards Gen.G. He didn't want to go towards the SEN. He felt like it was a little bit too strategically deep. He wanted to go towards Icebox instead. I think there's a lot that he's showing there. It's like, hey, we know where you're good. We don't want to take you there, bro.
And it also showed in the server of how SEN approached that entire map in the beginning, right? All the attack, it was, the slow, methodical approach, not trying to give any kills. And the pistol rounds is what stuck out to me. In a 13-9 win, that's 4 rounds. That's 2 pistols that SEN won.
Yeah.
That's how evenly matched these teams are, that it comes down to who can hit these shots right here.
Icebox very well. It might be a different story.
Wow.
A couple of sheriff shots already traded and kills found. Texture slips all the way back. But John QT is trying to do a bit of the same, not able to settle shots on the last kill as Gen.G manages to get the spike down, manages to get away. Now it's on Sentinels to attempt to retake this. Have a little bit of util to play around. They have the drone, they have the Viper Wall, and they have a weakened Texture, a weakened Munchkin. John QT is not much better off. Do they have any lineups? Do they have anything like that? No spits, nothing to speak of. John's not able to stick around. The one Molly that they had, Saucy with 2 big ones. Munchkin left alone. Had the knife, drops down, spots 1. Saucy on the defuse, gotta get it to half. Pauses for the fight as Saucy gets 3 and the defuse.
It was blow for blow the entire round, a 3v3, but Saucy just turned up.
And
those
honestly,
sheriff shots were so clean.
And honestly, that was a guy we didn't talk about a ton on Lotus. It was relatively quiet. I mean, yeah, we talked a lot about Texture and Munchkin and Zelsis, and for good reason. But this cow was quiet.
Oh my gosh, him and Lakia both.
Yeah.
This roll for roll, these teams are so evenly matched, but it's another pistol the way of Sentinels. Texture, he will get a Stinger purchased for him from one of his teammates and a light armor invested. Might be the only saving grace.
There is threat here. It's not all safe. Munchkin will fall.
I cannot use that.
But again, it's Texture who can bite back.
Oh, good damage done on the 10s and Saucy. Texture might find the timing here, just like he did on Pistol, but second, he's so ready for it.
And if he continues to be able to get the best of Texture throughout the entire map, that's a really good sign again, but if it's not Texture, it's Meteor. If it's not Meteor, it's Munchkin. It's gonna have to be Karon this time. Saucy looking for the target. Karon's gonna find him. Zelsis is on this late flank. And as time continues to tick, you've got to have a decent understanding where he might be coming from. The one problem, though, is Karon is 10 HP. He's so weak, Trey.
But all he needs is one headshot. One dink of the Sheriff at the right range. Cannot be too far.
He's gonna flip the map.
I mean, he's got so much time. Taking the scenic route.
There's not gonna be anything to give this away.
Oh, at the perfect range as well, yeah. He got right out of dodge, but now I think Zelsis,
30
he
seconds
smells
left.
something as a muck.
Well, the problem is he could be freezing back A main right now. There's no way to know where he's headed.
Yeah, the spike will inevitably be planted.
And now, Zelsis will understand
Spike planted.
that Karen's out.
Swarm grenade
He's
out.
planted towards B, and now the gunfight begins. All of these minor pieces, all of these minor movements end here. Karen taking a step back. As Zelsis continues to push forward, he has a turret, he has an alarm bot, but no real way to utilize either of those.
He's got so much to clear as well.
And I think part of the problem is Karen has no idea where Zelsis is coming from either. So it's a guessing game for both, the 50-50. Karen's on the swing, can't hit the shot to 10 HP. Was what gives it away at the end.
Talk about a saving grace. Zelsis winning that 1v1. Meteor went nuclear on site, getting 3 kills with that Sheriff, making it extremely costly from the side of Sentinels. These shots were disgusting. Oh, what a flick. And how does he get this one? Okay.
Getting shot too. This was big from Zelsis.
Doesn't matter how we did it, it's that we did it, baby.
And the truth is, nobody remembers how things play out at the end, right? I mean, to a degree, he's absolutely right. It doesn't have to be pretty as long as it works.
Absolutely. Now Gen.G with a clear gun advantage. Going into this round, it's another A default. A nice tag from Zekin. Gets a little too greedy, gets taken out by Lakia.
Yeah, swings in way too many. So the weapon will sit up in heaven.
Out of charges.
Gen.G with no real intentions of the rest of the map. They're all here towards A. Tench trying to get back and stay alive as Lakia is pushed so far already.
He's in a deep mix of things right now. Oh, Hunter's Fury invested.
But there are only Sheriffs left. I don't know that it's going to be enough.
Oh, there's a lot of players low right now.
Yeah, they are. You're right.
And it's light armor on John and Saucy.
Can they settle this? Gen.G are playing so far up here. Munchkin has a knife too.
Dark tags. Oh, can't connect.
Texture, 49 HP. As the wall goes down, John QT segmented off. Texture again found success from this very position. Saucy on the reposition. They've gotten it down to 1. Texture's weak. Can he find it? Down to 1v1. 7 bullets left. Saucy with the Sheriff. He gets up top and Saucy drops him. The 3K is Sentinels win the bonus. What was that?
Another big round from him. I was wondering why he was investing the Hunter's Fury with such a disadvantage, but they're so confident. At a level like this, it's those crazy plays that make the difference. Unexpected things that happen. And phenomenal execution. What great awareness.
Bro, I missed the easy one and I hit the hardest one.
Saucy showing up in a way that we haven't seen in a really long time to deliver the MasterCard Thrifty to get Sentinels to 3. Gen.G on this weird hobbled buy now. They've got a Vandal, a Guardian, light armor. But Sentinels did just show us it doesn't really matter the size of the gun in the fight. Second so far up, but he's been caught, he's been had, he's been found. A life donated here.
Very risky play from Zekin there with no real support. Johnny didn't have an angle.
No, he had no way to help him.
Yeah. And that's kind of uncharacteristic from Sentinels with the way they played the last map. They didn't really go for risks like that on the defensive side when they knew they had a clear advantage. So maybe a little bit too overconfident, a little too overeager, but a lot of info gathered from Tens.
Yeah, that little pixel angle, calling the rotate back A. Zelsis will have a lot on his hands. And that knife tagging means the utility's not going to be a part of the equation for a little bit. But in and out behind the wall, finding lethality and getting away.
Even numbers it is.
Yeah, they've still gotten out towards the site. Spike should be able to go down. I don't know if there's anything that Sentinels have to deny this. And now the lockdown early.
Yeah, this is going to create chaos for Zelsis, but he's still going for it.
Seems like he's just going to try to get a parting gift. Even if he gets detained, he's got help. The problem is, what he doesn't have a ton of his time. Meteor's down. Crispy shot out from Tens, and now the rest of the defense starting to creep their way forward. The flash over the wall. Gen.G giving so much respect and giving so much space here. Again, all of the post-plant utility gone. 2 Vandals in the hands of Gen.G. Lakia 1 away from having Thrash online. They're waiting for the swing, and there it is. Lakia down. Zelsis will get it to half. Munchkin's by himself. Can he stop it? No. Sen City get to 4.
These retakes from Sentinels are so good on A site so far. Complete control and patience in the approach. And then they're fighting together. I mean, it was a firing squad that everybody in that post plant had to deal with. Munchkin, had he taken a little bit more of a step out, that spray would have connected, but it just wasn't quite there. And Zelsis, what a big impact kill. A lone warrior on site, dipping out, making it even numbers after a great entry from Texture.
Thrash popped at the beginning of the round, clearing out a little bit of that belong space. And then the knife, too, confirming where Zekken is. It's actually a really nice combo of utility.
Yeah, just no follow-up from the side of Gen.G, so Zekken can hold his ground, keep all this info.
Yeah, but I don't think they wanted that. I think they wanted to find where Zekken was and then hit the other side of the map. The problem is that may be part of Sentinel's plan. They've got so much more utility out towards A, but it's all been cleared. It's all been recalled back.
Oh.
Texture finding high ground, but not finding a kill. And so they've gotten out onto A. They should be able to get the spike down. I thought it might go over to Karam because he was one away from the pit, but it's Munchkin who sinks the spike into the soil of the site. Knife out. Understanding there is a little bit of presence. Zelsis further up, but the rest of Sentinels not far off behind him. Again, these post plants that you mentioned, they've been so effective for Sentinels, but they're at a numbers disadvantage here. Can they convert again?
Oh my goodness.
That's such an aggressive lockdown. They've got to fight it. I don't think they can hold this back. JNG has already gotten it to half. Tens pushing forward. Just the threat. Just the distraction. Getting the kill too. Lakia and Karen left alone. And it's another round the way of Sentinels.
The retakes of Sentinels. Need I say more? It's too good. That's 5 diffuses. 5 spikes being planted for Gen.G and no conversion. And they're trying to swing together, but that aggressive lockdown, it created too much chaos. It creates a disconnect.
Bro, my brain is completely off right now. Peak.
That's him with brain off. I mean, I guess
he doesn't really need it on when he's just playing aim labs.
Yeah, when he's
holding the diffuser.
Swinging out 410 like that, trying to take the fight into A main, sure.
And it's slipping away right now for Gen.G. Nightmares, flashbacks.
Yeah, but I still think, I'm very curious to see what things look like on the other side of this timeout for Gen.G. Because you think about how effective they've been on the other side of timeouts throughout really the entire year. I mean, this is not an area that they're unfamiliar with as far as trying to implement a plan and as far as trying to change the tides in positions like this. I think the one problem is this might be the most important timeout Gen.G will call all year. This might be the most important timeout of the year for them.
It is. And on the last map, that timeout brought them back into things. It got them back in the mix, gave them a chance, brought it to 13-9. They need to convert around. They're doing a great job of getting the spike planted, but it's the post plants that have been faltered. A disconnect sometimes, you know, Meteor playing too far up, Ten's getting a free pick on him. Then the numbers advantage sways the way of Sentinels. Maybe they all need to fight back sight together as a unit and be cohesive in the post plant.
Again, heavy presence towards A. Karen has his ult. Munchkin 2 away from his.
Another A hit. They understand that they've been getting the spike planted, like I said.
Yeah.
But this time, a change of pace, though. It's a flood. Oh my gosh, they're not ready for it, Doug.
Ten's ahead of the play. He really might be brain off, but it seems to be working. I mean, they just continue to crumble. It's just Texture and Munchkin left. You were just talking about how this has been successful for them. If you think about the equation for Gen.G, this part has been fine. They've been able to get into post-plant positions, but they lose the post-plants. This time, all of the resistance was met ahead of that.
It's not over yet, though. The wraparound from Texture, he's got 3 to the round.
He's going to have to win a B2, though. The ever-elusive Ace will have to deliver here if he wants to get Gen.G on the board. He's getting it down to 1, and there it is! An ace at the best possible time! Gen.G are on the board.
And he's the guy you want stepping up in moments like this. The runner, the forefront. He's been getting entries all map long. But an ace from your star duelist, that can be what turns the tide. All of a sudden, the team has energy and life in them. But can you string more rounds together? Because you absolutely have to.
This time a bit of a different look for as much as they've been slamming their heads into the wall of A. A little bit more noise B here. And look at this lineup from Zekin. Far up, inserted, with op in hand.
An adaptation made. He was opping B the last 3 rounds. This time he wants in the mix. He wants in the action. He wants to take out Texture, who just got that ace. But he's going to have to deal with a lot here, and it looks like Gen.G have a...
He's had a hot hand, but he's going to get flashed off of this first line, holding the next, almost landing the shot. Saucy understanding Texture so far up already. A second switches to the classic, tries to get away, and Texture hunts him down! 2 kills found! Tenzo trying to punch back, grabs the op. Can he wield it the same way?
This one's just too hard, Doug. Surely, with the Viper's Pit invested, one player tries to save the operator, but they have a lot of time to work with. Maybe Spam can get you a pick.
And they've got money.
Oh, a little bit of a chip damage right there.
Make a play. Oh. Traded right back, though. Tens falls off. Once again, hits the ground. Surely they just scoop that thing up and get away. Gen.G will get their second. And again, it wasn't an ace, but it was Texture setting the pace.
He's so explosive in these moments.
And in a lot of ways, Dre, this feels really reminiscent to what we saw in Lotus. Was the score not 5-1 before things turned?
Yeah, after a timeout.
We're following the same forecast. This is where Gen.G really put things together. And it seems like they're doing it again.
I mean, he dashed onto second after second whiffed that off shot. He just ran him down. And then this time around, the Viper's Pit made it easy to isolate fights. Saw Zelsis dropping there. Texture has his second round of jet knives.
11-5 from the star.
What a performance.
But the job's not finished.
Another AD fall.
But this time with a little bit of mid presence. We haven't seen them do this.
Yeah, they will be matched by a turret.
Remember, they've been throwing the Smolly over the top 2 to clear it. I'm surprised they didn't try that here. It doesn't matter. Zelsis is dead.
Yeah, everyone was isolated. There's 3 members of Sentinels towards B. This is a perfect call from Gen.G.
Yeah, you got to be careful here, though. These gunfights are hard to win. A little bit of damage was dealt, yes. But you still have some mid-presence, and Meteor beautifully escapes. He tries to get away. JongQT has to clear this. And there was no safe space. That's a gorgeous call from Gen.G.
That was unreal. What a beautiful, beautiful set play. The walk through mid.
They have to save again.
Yeah. Momentum now the way of Gen.G. At what point do Sentinels call their own timeout?
It's got to be soon.
Oh my goodness.
Spike will go off. Gen.G will get to 3. And again, I think it's a lot of the dynamic rounds that we've seen from the attack on the other side of Texture's ace have been splendid.
Yep. And now if you're Sentinels, you're worried about mid for the rest of the game. Is another split going to happen when they're doing their AD default in the beginning? It opens up the map for the attacking side. You're able to be rent-free in the mind of Sentinels.
Yeah, and I realize now is Sentinels will call a timeout, give us a moment to discuss things. I was questioning in the moment. They've been dropping that molly to clear out the turret. You clear out that turret, and then the surprise is given away, right? Like, they tucked in the smoke. That was such a beautiful call.
Very high IQ play. Because you're 100% right. If that turret gets broken early on,
somebody has
Sentinels
to look.
has to pick it up.
Exactly.
You shift over a player at B. Them not breaking that turret at the timing they did as that A hit is coming through. There's still 3 players towards B. I mean, that's a wonderful call from Munchkin. He may be sitting at 1 kill, but his calling right now is phenomenal. And what a comeback into this half off the ace of Texture.
Very similar to what we saw in Lotus. 2 rounds now between these 2 Titans.
It's kind of insane, like Sentinels, with the way that they won all of those rounds in the retake scenarios and whatnot, their economy has lasted 4 rounds. It's the 4th round, they still have money. But right here, it will be broken if Gen.G can win this round. Finally put Sen on an eco, perhaps. Such an uphill battle that Gen.G had to climb. And they're just 1 step away.
It seems like they've crested the mountain, or close to it. Almost at the summit. Look at the respect mid.
Yeah.
Look at Sasi's positioning. You're absolutely right.
Rent-free. Absolutely rent-free.
Zekin holding B-line with the op. Gen.G a much slower approach to this round.
Yeah. And this is Munchkin's highlight of IGLing, his changes of pace. I mean, the pace in the first 5 rounds, it was A hit, A hit, A hit, A hit, A hit. Now a very, very slow approach. But there's 4 members of SEN here, and that Viper's Pit is invested as well. You kind of have to flip sight in this moment.
They're not committing to this.
Oh,
they are now. That's going to flush out the pit. Or at least attempt to. Meanwhile, that dart tagging a couple of people. A really good idea of what's waiting on the other side. 30 seconds left. The spike's still not down. They realize that, I mean, the vast majority of the defenses are here. If they decide that they're going to go up any bit further, it's going to be with a fight. Texture still alive. And still fragging. He's so far back. You're absolutely right. Lockie is tucked. Just waiting on the other side of the pit, waiting for his moment to strike.
What is that?
John finds him. That was the trap the entire time. They still have this pit up. They're still going to have to find a way around it. Zels is falling. Zekin 2. Can John 1v3? I don't know if there's enough time for this anyway. The tap, the spam, the 4th round for Gen.G.
That is an unbelievable round to win for Gen.G. Sentinels did so many things to make it hard on Gen.G to win that round.
Borderline impossible.
They pre-fired the Viper's Pit. Everything was leading the way of Sentinels, delaying that spike being planted. But Lakia, he may be sitting at 1 kill, but sneaking through there, getting the spike planted with Wingman was everything. Taking all that space back sight, it gives his team the information that John's not playing in the Viper's Pit. No one was there. And it's such a risky play, but you gotta make those in times like this. And look, it's been A, so many rounds from Gen.G. Now they throw a B hit in.
The dart from the defense already clearing out back A. They've got a lot of space too. The alarm bot's gonna give the position away. They've got to understand that the timing window to hit B is now. Texture's already dashed back sight. Karon not far off.
Finished.
What?
And it traded 1 for 1. The fadeaway molly finding value for Zelsis. But Lakia is still there.
Yeah, and so much space gathered as well on this A site.
I mean, they were just so decisive on the hit. But Texture down, Lakia swinging backside, only finding 1. But a valuable one at that. It's now a 2v2. Tens and Sasi. Sasi, who was heroic in these first couple of rounds, but has since gone quiet. Looking to deliver again against Munchkin and Meteor.
He's in such a good spot right now. He might get double swung, though.
There's no way anybody clears this, not in a position like that. Beautiful positioning for Meteor. Oh. Sasi tapping, down to 1, 6 bullets left. Munchkin's molly's gonna buy some time, and that might be all he needs. As the clock continues to tick away, the spike continues to go off. It will expire as Gen.G has tied us up at 5. Unreal.
What was it that Zelsis said? Doesn't matter how you win, we won it. And their economy is flourishing, so they're chilling with that win. What a great timing to go B, though. Identifying that Sentinels have a bad economy. They finally broke it. They finally reached that summit, like you said. And they take fights, these long-range fights, towards B. They didn't expect the likes of the Vandal of Zekken in the beginning, and it being picked up from Tens as well. But it makes a lot of sense, this approach from Gen.G.
Sentinels have bought into this again. Light armor and 5 rifles. The Thrash clears so much space.
They're able to pick that one up as well.
Yeah, but the defense is starting to attempt to bolster this site. No targets found. The spit out first. Texture being down is a big one. Sasi also striking. And they've thrown Gen.G into disarray. The 3 remaining members have to take a step back towards long. Ten's on the swing. And it's a threat. It's a tap. It's a bait. They've got to do something to try to dissuade and try to distract some of what Sentinels are trying to do here. But they've been pushed so far back. Gen.G cannot find an opening. They cannot find a way in. Sentinels punch back.
The B retake is something we haven't seen yet from Sentinels in this half. And they look damn good at it, just like they did today.
I mean, we sung the praises of the retake so much. I'm not really surprised.
And if you look at the timeline, it's only been retake wins from Sentinels.
Yeah.
Spike diffuses across the board. And it's because they're not giving those long-range fights right away. They're waiting for teammates to group up.
Let's get 7, let's get 7.
Waiting for Gen.G to fight. And Sentinels, they're wishing for a 7th round here. 2 big ultimates online for them. Lockdown, Hunter's Fury.
To close out the first half of Icebox, Texture popped his blades.
And right now, Gen.G, all signs leading towards another B default. But Sen aren't buying it. They hear that jet smoke. Zekken, he's been kind of quiet since last map.
Yeah. They just set Munchkin up to go get the Orb B to have his ult online for this round.
Take flight.
Ults don't matter when you have the KO ultimate available to you.
Sentinels should know that. That might be a free kill. It's just so tough to land that on the Jets. But he finds Lakia. There's still a lot of threat from the attack here, though. They're not out of the woodworks yet. Oh, Meteor swinging into his death. I thought he had the timing on him, but he did not. Munchkin cannot do it on his own. Zekken asks for it. Sentinels get 7.
Not taking the bait, holding their ground at A that entire round, and taking the fight to Gen.G this time. What a change of pace at the very last round of the half.
But again, the exact same story that we saw on Lotus. It was Sentinels until it was Gen.G, and then it was 7-5 to take us to halftime. We'll see how Icebox closes out.
Red Bull gives you wings.
2 rounds separating these 2 squads. Elimination on the line. We've talked about the stakes, and we're going to talk about them again. Because this is the year for both of these squads. This is where either you punch a ticket to playoffs, to the big dance where you're in top 8 and you're still in pursuit of the hardware, or you go home empty-handed. And that's a long off-season to think on.
And not only making the playoffs, but probably being a favorite going into playoffs as well. Both these teams champions of their own right this year. Sentinels, Madrid winners, Gen.G, Shanghai winners.
The only 2 teams to have tasted international glory in 2024.
It's poetic.
Sentinels have the lead, but we know Gen.G, they do not go down without a fight.
Doug, Gen.G desperately need a pistol round win in this series. It might be just what takes them over the edge. And what an entry from Texture.
What a beautiful setup. The flash, the dart, everything was there, and Zelsis is dead.
He's going for more, Doug.
Sentinels deciding that they still want to try to hit this site with Zekin up close. Munchkin getting the best of 10s, but Texture only finding another. They're weak, though. 22 HP on Zekin. Meteor and Karan still remain for Gen.G. There's a lot of time left in this round. They can slow things down. They can quietly instill all, well, that wasn't quiet, instill all the doubt into the minds of Gen.G.
And look at how the approach is so similar from both sides. Just group up, play together, push together.
Not even really interested in the orb. They want to find the timing. They want to capitalize on it.
Revealing area.
Attempting to clear out any utility that might have been there, and there is none because Meteor went for Sheriff.
And armor. And that dart will be seen on the mini-map from the side of Gen.G, so now they have a good idea. They're able to get a little bit more ahead. And remember, Second sitting low.
Yeah, Sasi's got to be careful here. He's the healthy one. He finds his one. But can the rookie deliver for Gen.G? Oh, he spotted the cape, betraying him twice.
I think he saw him. I think Sasi also saw him. Second turned instantly around.
Karen's having to accelerate here in a 1v2. Again, both targets weak. A stiff breeze will drop him, but that's now 4 pistols in a row. The way of Sentinels.
And last time around, Doug, Sasi was on the Gecko. This time, he's on Sova. He's known for it. And he looks so comfortable. He's 14-7, and his pistol round impact has been impeccable.
Spike down A.
That trade, by the way, of Zekin onto Texture was unbelievable. That was so much impact right there. Zekin was sitting at 1 shot. To connect a headshot in a moment like that when you're doing a 180. Insane.
To go from winning 1 pistol to winning all 4. I mean, what a drastic change. Zekin's gonna get gooped, Texture's gonna get aggressive, but it's a Guardian shoved down his throat. The gun difference here for Sentinel, so nice. There's really no way for Gen.G to put up a resistance. They don't have the weaponry. They don't have the health. They don't have the personnel.
Spike planted.
Karen's gonna get his one, but again, Zekin closes the round as Sentinels get to 9.
Very decisive anti-eco from Sen. Just full sending it A. It was a great flash from Lakia. But Zekin dropping the smoke on himself. Everybody else, the supporting cast of Sentinels, just spamming away, understanding that there's only one way Zekin dies in that moment. And it's Texture walking into that smoke. It's a pretty healthy buy right now from Sen. They didn't drop any rifles or any Spectres that they bought into the round. And it will be the first full buy for Gen.G.
Pacey take across the middle of the map. Every single member with crosshairs trained there too. Look at that, a 1-for-1. Zelsis takes a step back. You see the pings on the minimap. He's spotted here. This is a dangerous fight.
4 members taking a fight against Zelsis. That's full information relayed.
Texture so weak. But he somehow stays alive and somehow cleans up 10s before he even hits the ground.
Standing ahead.
But of course, it's Sasi. Who else? He's been so steady. He's been so stalwart. He's been so successful here. And on the international stage again, trying to drag Sentinels across the finish line. Meteor's left in a 1v2, and Saucy gets another. Sentinels get to 10.
Saucy has been lights out this entire map. We keep praising his name.
17-7 is absurd.
And he almost has another Hunter's Fury. He did that all with a Bulldog. Texture, he just couldn't settle those shots on the Zelsis right away. It brought him low enough. But just cold.
Oh, the smirk and the wink. The guy knows what he's doing, man. 3 in a row for Sentinels. Another bonus converted. Gen.G, remember, they found success in this exact same play, but this time cautious now. 56 HP. He's got a rifle. One of only 2 that are standing up is Lakia. Gets aggressive, finds his one. They're dealing a lot of damage here, but as soon as there's a window for Gen.G, Sentinels slam it. How in the world does Meteor do this? Can he be a spark? Can he be magic? Both targets found, but neither of them claimed. Zekin gets 3 as Sentinels get to 11. And the light slowly starting to fade for Gen.G.
And Doug, the pace that Sentinels have been putting on Gen.G in this attack half, it's been so quick. It's like they implemented Gen.G's own game plan of their attack onto them. But the difference is, Sentinels on their defense played a full retake style. Gen.G on their defense are trying to fight Sentinels, and it's just not going their way. When center on point, when they're dialed in, they have some of the most cracked aimers in the world.
Different look early on. Sentinels again with a lean towards A. Texture has an op this time, and that's exactly where they're headed. That tag is going to get 2. Munchkin gets his 1, though. Lakia trying to stay alive, has to take a step back as John looks to settle the shots, and it's Meteor who wins it out. Can Texture claw them back into this? It's Zelsis left alone, a 1v3. Lakia's weak, yes, but so is Zelsis. And he's outnumbered here. Meteor gets to 3 as Gen.G gets 6.
It was a crazy ult from Saucy in the beginning of that round, getting a collat tag.
I thought he was going to get 2 there.
Yeah, right? But the movement, the finesse and backside. Texture finding a window of opportunity. Lakia seeing a barrel, a glimpse of something.
I didn't think it was a barrel. It might have just been the effects of the gun.
Meteor going huge as well in screens.
And I think that's the question now, right? Is who's going to step up for Gen.G? In that round, it was Meteor. Texture still has the op.
Deploying drone.
And a different look from Sentinels. It's been all A, all day. Drone will get a tag. Saucy is truly in a flow state right now. He pre-fired that. They didn't even see him.
There's a lot of the defense here, including Texture and his op.
Yeah, Texture wants blood. He's hunting for it, but it looks like Sen have something cooked up. A little pop flash play, perhaps.
Will he find a target? He's taken the line. Nothing found yet.
Look at this from Sen.
This freeze is crazy, but the problem is they're on the clock. You can't stay in this state forever.
Look at the mini-map. Just biding their time. It's a free B site right now.
Second with a massive shot. The op is down. Lakia and Munchkin with 2 ults. Rotating back B, and there it is, the first popped. Saucy managing to get the spike down, though, as Tens. Backside, plucking one down, trying to turn the flash, succeeds, but dies. Now numbers still the way of Sentinels. With the spike down, John QT looks to get away. A couple of parting shots, his threats as Lakia falls. Munchkin on his own, a 1v3. He's got it down to 1. A 1v1, can Munchkin deliver? Perhaps the biggest 1v1 of his career. The tap, there, the swing, but Zelsis walks out on top. Sentinels get to series point. He wasn't kidding. Sentinels said they were out for blood. That's exactly where they're at now.
Just gotta let it sit right now. Texture, too many targets to look at. Getting double swung in that moment. What a freeze though from the side of SEN. It made two members that were supporting Texture in that moment rotate all the way back into A site. No info was gathered towards B. The spots that Sentinels were hiding at, the operator doesn't get value in that moment. I don't blame Gen.G for rotating over. It's very common for teams to leave a solo operator posted on that B line, but it was a false sense of security that was their demise. And this might be the last time out that Gen.G will take at Champs 2024, Doug. Economy not looking too hot from the side of Gen.G. And the ultimate economy is off the charts right now for Sentinels. You guys will all see it when this timeout ends.
I mean, what do you say to your team in a moment like this? If you're Gen.G, what do you say if you're solo here?
You gotta pray.
All you can do is band together. It's exactly what you just saw the coaching staff do on the screen. There's the ults that you were just talking about. 4 of 5 the way of Sentinels. They've got everything they could possibly want. Remember, on Lotus, they got to the 1 yard line, and then Gen.G put together a ferocious comeback, but it wasn't enough. Can they do it again? And can they close out the map here?
Sentinels are wise to something.
Yeah, the Dizzy going up. They know.
And you can't recover that either, Doug.
Exactly, that's not a Dizzy. They're going to be able to scoop back up.
Sentinels understood that they're at match point right now. It's elimination for Gen.G. Players get desperate at a time like this. They want to force things, make things happen. That's why you see a red wall across the board. Nobody has really pushed past the barrier.
That desperation can be a fine line, though.
I mean, look at the mini-map. From the start of the game, it was 3 players towards A, a shift towards mid now. There was a dagger used.
Texture's going to be called upon to deliver. The hour has struck. Can he arrive? No! Saucy overwhelms him. With the rest of Sentinels behind him, they push forward, looking to take A. Can Karen hold the line? The flash in his face. He will crumble too. Now just 1 rifle up for Gen.G. Hopes and dreams of a year. Potentially falling short right now. Yes, they raised the trophy in Shanghai. But it would have been so much sweeter to do so in front of a home crowd. But now, Lockie and Munchkin doing their best to keep this thing up, to keep it competitive. They're gonna have to navigate the pit. Every single member crumbling. Tonight, Seoul burns red. Sentinels survive.
It feels like SEN always take the hard route, Doug. And this one was really, really tough. What a fight from Gen.G. But it was SEN besting Gen.G on the maps that they bested them in the final the last time around. Closing it out on Icebox.
Heartbreak for Gen.G. The weight of the year. The expectations, the hopes, the aspirations. Coming up short. And so Gen.G bow for the last time in 2024. Bested by Sentinels. Again, the only 2 teams that have tasted international glory this year. But it's Sentinels who come out on top. Nothing but love between the 2 players, between the 2 squads, as you can see on your screens.
A lot of respect.
Oh, a ton. From the coaching staff to the players, from top to bottom. Well, you can always count on Zelsis, Tad. Let me give you a moment. What a performance, man.
It was ridiculous. We said it in the last match against FPX. Once this team gets momentum, they're full steam forward, full train ahead. They're an unbelievably rehearsed squad.
Well, and the thing is, I think for Sentinels, as you think about stage 2 and you think about playoffs, for most of stage 2, we thought, okay, Sentinels are peaking at the right time.
Yeah.
They're going to head into champs, and they're going to head into champs strong, confident. They have a chance to make a run, but they hit a couple of stumbling blocks along the way, and we thought, okay, what team is showing up in Seoul? Is it going to be the stage 2 team, or is it going to be the playoffs team that struggled, that stumbled, that in a lot of ways failed to meet the expectations? But this is the Sentinels from Madrid. This is the Sentinels from stage 2.
And it's all going back to comfortability, going back to their old compositions, playing what they know, the tried and true. They look phenomenal in these moments. That was such a big moment from Texture. That ace, it almost brought them all back. Definitely brought back the half.
But it just wasn't enough.
No.
They got pushed. The score does not tell the whole story, man.
And it's just tough as well for Gen.G, not winning a single pistol round. That first map truly came down to that. A 13-9.
You don't win against the best in the world when you struggle on pistols that much. Sentinels saw that the first time they played. They made the adjustments that they needed, and you mentioned it was the difference maker on the first, and that closes out the series for them. We're going to throw it down to Zekin, who's standing by on the stage for the Verizon post-match interview.
Hello everyone, I'm joined by Sentinel Zekin. Congratulations on your win, Zekin.
Thank you.
센티넬의 제켄 선수 인터뷰 만나보겠습니다. 젠지와의 두 번째 경기였는데 이번에 센티넬이 승리를 하게 됐습니다. 오늘 경기 승리 소감부터 들어보도록 하겠습니다. This was your second game against Gen.G and you took it home this time. How was it the second time around?
It was amazing. Thankfully we got it pretty clean, 2-0 instead of a 5-map series, but we're just really happy to get the win.
오늘 아주 깔끔한 2대0 경기를 가져가게 돼서 너무 좋고요. 사실 다섯 번째 맵까지 뭔가 5게임을 하게 될 거라고 예상했지만 생각보다 빨리 끝나서 기분이 좋다고 하네요. 중요한 순간마다 만나는 젠지, 그리고 젠지의 아이스박스 이전에 만난 적이 있지만 그때보다 계속해서 촘촘해지고 있었던 아이스박스였는데 오늘 맵픽 보고 좀 어떤 식으로 접근을 해서 승리를 가져가게 된 건지 물어보도록 하겠습니다. You know, you've met Gen.G on Icebox and they've been improving, like their Icebox is known to be flawless, but so when you saw the map pick today, what was your game plan?
Our game plan was just to hopefully shoot better, win on the aim duels. Icebox is such a aim duel heavy map, so usually whoever is feeling it more tends to win. So we just came in with a lot of energy and tried to win all our fights.
You've done it before. Doing it again, right? 이제 아이스박스가 워낙 듀얼 뭔가 에임적으로 중요하기 때문에 오늘도 이전에 해봤던 듯이 다시 뭔가 에임 집중해서 오늘 경기를 치렀다고 하네요. 그리고 다음 상대 플레이오프 진출하고 나서 내일 드로우를 통해서 만나게 되는데 가장 만나고 싶은 팀과 그리고 가장 피하고 싶은 팀 한번 물어보고 싶네요. You're off to the playoffs, but you'll find out your opponent at the draw tomorrow. So I want to ask, who do you want to meet the most and who do you want to avoid the most?
I don't really have anyone I want to play or don't want to play. I'm just excited to play whatever the strongest team is possible. I just want to play the best.
Oh, the strongest, whatever comes your way? 누굴 만나는지 사실 그렇게 뭔가 선호하거나 그런 건 없고 그냥 강한 팀을 만나서 이기고 싶다고 합니다. 센티넬의 제켄 선수 인터뷰 만나봤습니다. That was Sentinel's Zekin, and we'll be back after the break to see Fanatics and crew.
Trade in any phone in any condition guaranteed. And get $800 off the new Galaxy Z Fold 6. Only on Verizon.
Red Bull gives you wings.
We've got the same mind. You got me so hot. We've got the same mind. I love you all night. We got the same mind. Got the same mind. We got the same mind. Got the same mind. We got the same mind. Got the same mind. We got the same mind. Got the same. Got the same. We got the same mind, got the same mind. We got the same mind, got the same mind. I ain't looking for love. I just wanna get drunk on you. One sip is enough. Oh, I just wanna get high on. We got the same mind. The same mind. We got the same mind, got the same mind. We got the same mind. We got the same mind. The same mind. The same mind. We got the same mind, got the same mind. We've got the same mind.